Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again, I am Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we're reviewing Chucky, Episode 5, streaming now on USA and SYFY. Oh, yes, we did not know we were even going to review the first one. Now we're 5 episodes in. This is so much fun. All right, joining me tonight is the one and only Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
You are, sir. You are doing great. Look at you. You're the definition of great. So
somebody tell my wife, please.
There you go. Also joining us tonight is Crystal Cleveland, the living dead girl. How you doing?
I'm good.
You're
yeah,
good.
just it never fails to just make me go, oh, okay. That's something
I do now.
Yeah. A new level of awkward.
All right. Can we welcome the award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Mohr as our new regular? Say hello to Christopher G. Mohr.
I'm glad we could bring Borscht Belt comedy that's so timely to this podcast that most young people will not understand or even get that old school joke.
Actually, yeah. I don't technically know what that is, but I will Google that immediately.
Google it. Oh my God.
A variation on the "Take My Wife, Please."
Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do tonight, folks, is we're going to review the 5th episode of Chucky, streaming on SYFY and USA. We're going to give our first impression, which will be spoiler free, and then we'll talk about the episode and we will dive into spoilers and all kinds of goodness. This is the one to do it with, I will tell you that much. And then we'll wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. But of course, before we do, we hope so much that you will enjoy not only this episode and this review, but all the others that we have on the site. I stumbled over it. Yes. But if you want to help us, it's easy and free to do. Hit the subscribe button down below, hit the like button, or share with a friend. It will do wonders, and we thank you so much. And of course, most of all, leave your comments down below. We'd love to hear what you think of this episode of Chucky. All right, let's take a look at it. Episode 5, Little Lies. SYFY and USA Network on November 9th, 2021, directed by Leslie Libman, yes. Writers, Harley Payton and Rachel Paradis. One of those is right. Or both of them are wrong. I don't know. Created by Don Mancini. The cast includes the regulars with 2 new faces, Fiona Dorff and Jennifer Tilly. And let's all give a round of applause for their addition. All right, synopsis. Jake and Devon are ready to take their relationship to the next level. But after another gruesome murder at Chucky's far from idle hands, who has time for romance? Meanwhile, enemies and allies from Chucky's past show up to complicate matters.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Oh, boy. Things get wild tonight. All right, let's take a look and let's find out what our first impressions are. And Crystal, you are up.
Yay. Okay, so this is my favorite episode. I've already told you guys before the show. Yay! And it's my favorite episode for one scene that made everything worth whatever. I mean, the rest of the episode could have been poop, and I still would have loved it. So I super duper love Fiona Dorff. I love her so much, I just can't explain to you. And Jennifer Tilly, of course, she's just, like I said, fabulous. But this episode does have some 14-year-olds or something in it. I can hardly remember them now. Oh my God, I actually did forget what.
Jake and Devon.
I mean, it's sweet there too because they've got a nice little intimate moment, and there's a death, and it was good. Yeah. They upped their game this episode on the death. The death is amazing. I mean, because we're not getting into spoilers, right? But those things are hard to make and make them look good, and they were bold enough to do a close-up on that, and I thought it was really well done. So the episode was very, very good, and I love they focused on Charles and his backstory. And the more I get of it, the more I love it. And that is a whole nother level of something else that I just love, which also relates to Fiona, who I just don't think you understand. I love her. Let's just put it this way. Like at Texas Frightmare, it was her and her father were there. I didn't even go up to her booth. I couldn't even look at her. But I did go talk to Brad and have him sign my poster. But I was like, with her. I can't do it. Yeah, I don't know what it is about her. Christopher's face.
Do you have a Chucky?
Yes. I do have a cackle. I do. Like my laugh's pretty freaking bad. But yeah, I don't know what it is about her. She's so. Well, I'll tell you this. I fell in love with Fiona at the end of Cult of Chucky when she had on that wool coat with that red scarf and was walking around. And I was like, yeah, you know what you're doing. Yep.
You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. Okay, all right.
Sorry.
Christopher, you're up next. What was your first impression of Chucky episode 5?
I loved it. And well, for anybody that knows me, they know I love some 80s stuff. So it's kind of nice. We got a little 80s flashback where they actually did the 4:3 screen. Like it's old school, and they had a little bit of every time it would go from the flashback to current. They'd almost like a VCR, like. Yes. So I kind of like that aspect of it. Yeah, I like the episode. And it's, and it's kind of interesting how we've gone from like people hating each other to turning into the Scooby Gang.
Yes.
That's good. Yep.
So that's kind of interesting. And how things are kind of playing out, and we finally find out a certain person's secret, which is interesting. So, I mean, there's so many elements that kind of are falling into place, how these kids are trying to fight back. And at the same time, I think one of the bigger things is, it's called, the Chucky series is more than just being this possessed guy and a doll. We get to learn more about the background of, of how this killer became what he was, and later, became, this guy, and the doll. So yeah, I kind of like that. I mean, I like the episode, but I think in the process of them trying to sort of make a character into sort of the 80s version of the killer, Ray, Charles Lee Ray, it was like that uncanny valley for me, that where it just felt like, the makeup just wasn't like at that right level for me, and it kind of took me out of it. Even though I will say that Fiona Dourif gives an amazing performance in this episode, to the level of like, it made me realize how amazing an actress she is.
Yeah.
And at the same time, put her on my list of women that I have a thing for, because and I've also oddly was attracted to her when she was speaking in that.
Oh yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. It's all
Chucky
good.
voice. Whatever, and I'm like, I don't know how to feel about this, but I like it.
So you just said how you feel about it.
Yeah, I guess to have a new fetish.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, can you speak like Chucky? So yeah, and it's great. It's great that we get Tilly back as well. So yeah, it's a really fun episode that also ends in a really ta-da type of way that works. So there's some really, really fun moments. There's a really fun moment with Chucky as well that I really enjoyed.
No.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
I was laughing. But yeah, I'm trying not to say any spoilers, so I'll just say I really enjoyed the episode.
Really enjoyed it. All right, Jeff Mohr, sir.
Yes, I enjoyed it too, especially the stuff that people were talking about, that they're back. I'm going to watch it again because I didn't get didn't even realize what was happening there, and with Fiona, and I think my psychological bent was my psychology was bent based on a movie that will remain nameless I watched right before this. And so I was a little more judgmental than usual, and I felt like it was kind of flat. But now when you guys are talking about it, I'm thinking, oh no, that was pretty cool. Yeah, that was pretty cool. So I'm readjusting as we go. So yeah, it's funny that you say they're the Scooby-Doo crew, because they're those three are like, and Junior.
Poor Junior, he's the odd man out finally.
And well, I don't know if that's spoilers or not, but we get another character that seems to go just a little wackadoodle to me more than what I realized earlier. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. Love having Jennifer Tilly and love having Dorff and all the parts she plays.
All the parts she plays. Yeah, I enjoyed this as well. I think I'm kind of in Chris's camp. You mentioned beforehand it's not necessarily a favorite one, because it's very transitional. It seems it's transitioning the story from our Scooby Gang into, what happens after the cult of Chucky, almost literally, right?
Which you say 2 weeks?
I don't buy the 2 weeks though. It seems like it's longer than that, but
that's only because it's been that long for us.
Well, that might be true.
Yeah.
That might explain the reference to Westworld.
Yes.
Which I felt was very odd, but then I get it. All right. There are some great moments, but then there are some moments for me that kind of were a bit sluggish and drug a little bit. But in the end, it really won me over with some choice moments and made the entire effort worth it. And it definitely is. Let's put it this way: even though I didn't like it as much, it doesn't mean this show is losing ground. It is still as surprisingly great as it has been from the get-go, and I am having such a ball while watching it.
Good. Keep it that way.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, even if there's certain parts that may not work as well, there's other parts that kind of stand out and sort of, make you not as critical of it as a whole. Right. But yeah, I like parts of it. I mean, there are certain things that kind of irritate me. I don't know. There's like the scene where Jake's at the table and he keeps answering his phone and is like,
"Oh yeah,
you're just automatically making your little self look
bad."
When I just feel like he should have a better,
more respect.
Or just be more cognizant of that. Although it is kind of funny, it's like, there's a moment he's always doing his constipated face.
That face.
He does.
Okay, I thought about.
You said that, Chris.
I thought about you.
I can't see that. And then it was kind of weird. It's like, oh God, he's smiling. What? Go back to constipated face. I just feel like he's doing it so much. It's intentional. And now I cannot see it when I started seeing it. And then when he gets all happy around his new boyfriend, it's like, oh gosh, it's different. But yeah, there's like parts of that that kind of like were kind of off. But I mean, but then there's those wonderful moments. I love the moment where like we're already in spoiler territory. But,
yes, we are in spoilers.
When they hold hands and everybody's like passing by them, and they're having this
cool.
one moment between the two. There's things like that. I think they're really nice and cool.
And how awkwardly sweet their first kiss was.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. That was sweet. I mean, honestly, that probably would have been my favorite scene until we get further along in the episode. And I'm like, what? That was what? What? Goodbye, boys. Little precious little angels.
Yeah.
Hello, Fiona.
I could say that the more we spent with Junior's family, the more I was losing it. That dinner table scene was just like, get this over with. This is really going nowhere. And then Lexi's parents too was like, come on, I don't really care about them.
Well, to me, it's like they're so oblivious to their idiocy, and so almost like I just want to break through and say, what the fuck are you doing? Don't you realize you're not being a good parent? You're not really paying attention to what your kid really wants or the issues they're dealing with. And it's just annoying. It's like, and it even comes to the head later where the mayor mom goes out and like, oh, everything,
Yeah.
I did appreciate that though, because up until this point, they haven't really made her look that bad. She just looks like she's busy, she's this, she's that, and I've been kind of wondering. I'm like, where is Lexi getting it? Oh, okay. So
Right,
this is
right.
actually who her mom is. I think it's when this is the episode
Yeah.
where her mom actually showed.
Well, that's a
her
good point.
butt. Yeah, it
Because I
helped
was
me.
gonna, I was
Yeah.
gonna ask you if was I missing something or what? Because she was just totally
Yeah, she's
whacked out.
bad.
This
You
whole
realize she's
episode,
bad
she's
too.
just so self-centered. You wouldn't believe it. It just,
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand how you're going to get your talent to pay to renovate your house
I know.
when a kid has died inside your house.
It's so messed up.
I was like, there's no way to rationalize that at
Well,
all.
they said a couple episodes ago that it was a town treasure, the house itself, right?
Oh,
So,
you're right.
Yeah, so they were going to do it that
True,
way.
but
But still,
I don't know. It's like trying to be. I don't know how you could be happy-go-lucky about anything that's happened in that town so far, by the end of it, you're like, she's not going to be able to do anything to make anybody think anything different. I don't know. It's just there's just the adults. It's funny how the kids seem to be more adultish than the adults.
they're terrible in this
The
episode.
adults are the kids of this town, and that Junior's dad is just.
Oh,
Like, dude,
Junior's
just
dad
do
makes
you
me
not
super
know?
sad.
Your kid's
Yeah.
not really.
Like
Yes,
I don't
I'm
like
not my
parents who
brother.
live.
Maybe you
Well,
are. Maybe you are.
Seems to be getting there.
well, I loved it. I think it was the last episode where it was like they told him, this is more like your thing. You're living through him.
Yep.
And so then he goes, well, you really like cross country, don't you? You do, right? Right? Like, gee, many Christmas. What kind of a leading question is that?
Yeah, doesn't give me any chance.
Anyway, yeah, so it continues.
Yeah, the sooner we get away from that, and then the reveal about the mom.
Oh, see, that's why I said I was like, we made us think I knew she wasn't having an affair.
Right.
And because they were not being obvious enough.
Mm-hmm.
They were like just giving us, and I'm like, okay, they're trying to make us think that, but what's the reality? But I'm like, she might actually, oddly enough, wind up being one of the sweetest characters then.
Yeah.
Because to go through all that alone and to not tell her family because she wants to protect them and wants, I'm like, that's interesting because I really didn't like her at all.
Well,
and now I'm kind of,
It also puts a target on her back because if she dies, she's gonna die anyway. So I was.
yeah,
Well, she
I
might
mean, I
be the
don't
one
know.
to take Chucky out, right? So who knows?
because she doesn't care.
Yeah.
True.
I mean,
True.
she has nothing to lose at that point, right? Like,
Yeah, it's an interesting complication, I guess, to the.
Yeah.
complication. That's a good way to put
Hey,
it.
let's okay. So the not the president, but the principal of the school makes a wonderful entrance. Right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like immediately. It's like I don't understand. Well, I guess we don't need to understand that one. It is what it is.
Yes.
That fake head was very realistic.
Yeah.
That's
yes,
exactly
it
what
was.
I was.
Especially
it was
the eyes
really
opening
hard.
and blinking. Yeah.
Yes. I love
Yeah.
the way it rolled out. Everybody's and then one guy's like,
Well, yeah, there's
I
always
was
gonna be that
totally
one
watching
guy.
that. Yeah, it's good.
and then,
I
then
loved it.
he puts it with the thumbs up. She's sitting in the chair with thumbs
Yeah,
up, no
yes.
head. It's like Chucky. you
I
bastard,
hate
yeah,
people,
that's
but it's so funny.
I used to have dreams where my head would get chopped off, and then when it would roll down the aisle, and I was still conscious and seeing things.
Oh, you
And
probably
I-
get
and I-
vertigo and throw up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jeez, Jeff.
No. It was the idea was
Oh my God, that's sad. Makes
The
me
idea-
sad.
no. It was interesting. It was-
You know it.
how fast do you die when somebody chops off your
Well,
head?
they say you live a few seconds, so yeah. I mean,
that was kind of where that was coming
Was
from.
it-
I
was that
probably saw that on some show or something.
That's weird how we have those kind of things about that. But was the only one that thought maybe Chucky was going to come out like, I'm your principal now?
I wish you had. It would have been hilarious.
oh my gosh, I would die.
I don't know. I'd almost like, I know he tries to be very under the radar. But I just, for some reason, I thought it'd be very funny if he just came out.
I don't think Chucky would come out or will be exposed to the world, which I think at a point he will, until he has enough of an army. Mm-hmm. You know, because he really could build a cult, since he could put fragments of himself in like so many people now.
Yeah, he can. Well, let's seg into the return of Jennifer Tilly as Tiffany and your crush as what is it? It's Nika, right? Nika, but of course also Chucky. Doing Chucky voice and having quite the intimate scene together, and then looking at the knife and then, you know, flashing back at it. So strange, but awesomely so.
Well, I appreciated too that she went back to being paralyzed.
Yes,
because she does mention when she becomes possessed as Chucky, she pushes herself up. She's like, "Oh, there's benefits to being supernaturally possessed." Mm-hmm. They could still allow her to walk, I think, because she's still technically possessed. He's just not the one taking over.
Yeah, they could wrangle it now.
Yeah,
they have to ease themselves into it, but
yeah.
Did we all enjoy that scene with the two of them? And,
of course.
And the guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're all on the same
page. If someone didn't enjoy it, I just don't know about them. I mean, I don't know about them. I don't care who you are. It was so fun too.
Right, and they do give us a timeline. It's 2 weeks after the end of Cult of Chucky, and she's been Chucky for 2 weeks, and then briefly.
Let's keep this between us, okay? He's like, about that Nika thing. Let's just keep this between us, okay? I think that's so funny. I was like, ooh, now he's keeping secrets? Uh-oh. You see where this is a hot mess waiting to happen. You don't keep secrets, because the moment you do, you know, someone finds out, oh, she's been taking over, huh? You didn't tell me, Chucky, you know, blah, blah, blah.
No, that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. That's going to happen. It was great to have Jennifer Tilly back. Now, we also got the introduction of young Tiffany.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
I love that, too, because it made you think it was one.
Yeah.
And it was two. And I was like, of course he chose the redhead. Duh. But then he wants her to dye her hair blonde. I don't know about that.
Then the voice. Both the voices were so oddly wonderful that they were.
Yeah, it's kind of weird and a little bit jarring, but also.
The 80s flashback kind of, because it was dubbed so much
ADR, right?
You know, everything was dubbed. It felt out of sorts, and I don't know if maybe it was just intentional, because maybe it was like 80s and there was a lot of movies where they dubbed stuff. But I can understand the dubbing of Fiona playing her own. Dad.
I'm going to confess, I did not catch that. That was.
You thought it was some guy. That
I thought it was. I thought it was the same kid from the last one. Then they just made him older. I thought that's what the makeup was making him older. No. I did not get it. It went right over my head.
Yeah, I didn't get it either.
But I got to tell you, I was like, hot. I don't care. The makeup may not have been perfect. I don't care. She was hot.
Well, there's a YouTube video where they talk about this episode, and Dom Massini was talking about, like, if you think about it, Fiona from, like, you know, here up looks a lot like her dad, and so they just had to change a little bit of her nose, and of course add the what's it called, 5 o'clock shadow, whatever. And I think for the most part it kind of worked. You know, they gave her contact lenses and stuff, but there was just parts of it that, like, just felt, it was like that, like when you see like a CGI version of somebody, that uncanny valley.
Oh yeah,
it just felt a little bit off. And I mean, there were certain parts of it looked okay,
for sure,
and other parts not as much. And but I will say, again, we get to see like 3 different versions of Fiona in this episode. You get to see her as her dad, you get to see her when she's possessed by Chucky, and then also when she's playing her normal character from the previous movies. And I think she's amazing.
She does a great job in all 3.
Yeah, I mean, she is. Yeah, and she, you know,
She takes after her dad. Brad Dourif is one of the greatest actors of our time. I mean, in The Exorcist and Deadwood. I mean, obviously he's done a ton in the world of horror, but he's phenomenal.
When she's doing that Chucky voice in her hot lingerie, which is like, ooh, I found a new fetish. But when she's doing that, that could have been like, it could have been like cheesy. It could have, you know, I think any other actress might not have been able to sell that as well. But you felt like she was, you know, that she was Chucky in this hot female's body, you know, which I think there's that funny part where Tilly's like, I want a snack, and
it's my face. It's so funny. He's like, oh, you mean a real snack? You want to keep eating, Tiff?
Or
she's like, food makes me feel better.
Well, but she also makes a reference that supposedly now Chucky's into like, oh, maybe he's into guys as well now. Now that he's in a female body, but yeah, I don't know. I was so impressed by that because she's, you know, physically she's got like a different physicality, you know, and it's I was like, wow,
good.
I like me some Fiona.
Yeah, good.
Tiffany wanted some Swedish meatballs, right?
Yes. Is that what she said?
At first I thought it was some kind of murdery thing. I was like,
oh, it was some kind of metaphors.
They're going to cut his nuts off.
I know.
Yeah.
Slow down.
I think that was the point, though, too, that they were thinking maybe people will think it's, you know. Yeah.
Where are you going with this? Where are you going?
Spicy meatballs.
But at the flashback, it is kind of fun just to see that how he's attracted this girl who's he likes those people that are just very murderous and like to hurt people and that kind of thing.
Oh, and she had such a good time too. That was so funny when she having a good screamed in joy.
Yeah, very orgasmic.
Yes. Never had that.
It's kind of hard to keep them straight, I think. I mean, there was a lot of switcheroos here, like when Chucky switched to Tommy.
Yes.
And at first I was trying to figure out what happened and what was going on, and then they showed it to me.
Yep, they did.
I totally thought because when he's outside the window, I was dying. I was dying because he looked so sad. Yeah.
Well, it was creepy and cute at the same time because it goes like itsy spider.
Yeah.
he's like
this guy.
It's like I look like a tuna melt.
So
he looks in there and says, "No kid's gonna want you.
No kid's gonna love you." And that actually made me so. I was like, that is so cute to me. I'm sorry, that's just really cute. He's really kind of lovable.
Although after watching last episode, I was thinking that's gonna throw his vision off when his one eye's like down here. So he's probably. He's got some major ocular problems.
Yeah. Good thing he got out of that. But see, what would really have happened is I guess it depends how he transfers himself. I would have assumed that he still existed in that form as well. But I guess he could have used like the old technique and just transferred everything.
I think he just transferred to a new body.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't just go into her, but that's not as entertaining, I suppose.
I don't think he wants to be a little kid. He already was, and he didn't enjoy it. Remember?
True.
Because he said that when he was the little girl, he's like, oh, it's not so fun when you're trying to kill someone and they fight back, and a little girl can't take a hit like a dog can, you know, basically, is what he said. So, yeah, he doesn't want to be a kid. So, thank you, Dawn, for that, because that would really upset me. That would have
been weird. Yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's give our final thoughts, our score, 1 to 5, and our favorite scene, and we'll try to keep the same order. So, Crystal, that means you're up first.
So I already said this was my favorite episode, and I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Yeah.
Because it's really good. Like, and obviously my favorite scene is Jennifer and Fiona. And let me just tell you, I know we talked about this before, but Fiona knows what she's doing. Let me just tell you, there is a technique that girls use with girls, and I saw her do it, and I was like, okay, that's not something that I don't think that's just something that someone knows instinctively. It's this knee thing. And I was like, okay. Well, that's fun, like yeah, like you've done some research there, so that is all.
Some practical research. All right, well, yay.
And that was the favorite scene.
That was my favorite scene for sure.
For sure. All right, Christopher, you're up next. Your final thoughts, your score, and your favorite scene.
Yeah, another great episode. I mean, I think I'd seen someone just recently post like, "Who would have thought Chucky would be so good as a series?" And it's a fun series, and it has its ups and downs, but every episode has something fresh and fun and cool, and there's always a cool death in about every episode. So, but yeah, and there's always a little bit of humor and. So yeah, and I think it's got some really great parts, and it's also a sweet story about this kid coming into his sexuality. At the same time, you have other people that are learning how much of an asshole they are. Maybe they shouldn't be an asshole. So I think my only critique is just sometimes when you're trying to make a effects appliance to make it look like someone, sometimes it could, if it's not like perfect, no matter the performance of the actor or actress, it could sort of take me out of it, just me personally. So, so that was my only major issue, and also the dubbing got a little bit much in the 80s flashback, but it's still a fun episode. And having Fiona Dorff and Tilly back into the action is kind of cool, and it makes me kind of excited to see where it goes after this. I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
Nice.
I don't love it as much as Crystal does, but she knows those ways that we don't know. So
that's what it is.
When you know, you know. There's probably a lot of different cool scenes in this, but I'm gonna pick a scene that made me laugh. Nice. And that's the scene where he falls into that thing full of syringes. It's like, this is the good stuff. And then first of all, it's like, I hate needles in general, but it just made me laugh that he kept jumping around so he can get stuck with all these needles in his body.
I love hospitals.
Which is funny because the previous episode he killed someone with needles, and this time he's got all that. This is the good shit. So it is kind of interesting how he can get drugged as a doll.
Well, he can have sex too, remember? So, and he apparently has bodily fluids.
Okay.
Yep.
Try not to think about how that works. The physicality. Yeah. I'll just keep thinking about Fiona Dorff.
There you go.
Speaking like Chucky. Yeah. So that's my favorite scene is probably the syringe. Chucky rolling around in syringes scene.
Yeah, slightly different. Yep. All right, Jeff Mohr, sir. What is your final thoughts, your scoring favorite scene?
Well, I got to watch this one again because I'm a little bit like Chris in that you're trying to figure out who the young Charles Lee Gray was. So it was a little off, and I didn't get it. I kept thinking it was CGI, and I was thinking about that more than I was the scene. Although I love the scene. I like this one a lot too. I felt like there was some flat parts in it that I didn't like as much, but there was other parts that more than made up for it. And we actually get 3 kills in this one.
We get 2 on screen. Yeah.
Well, 2 on screen.
3. And 3. There is. One just rolling head.
One just rolls out. Yeah.
But who's the
guy and the girl? The guy and the girl.
The girl they kill in the flashback.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the flashback. Yes. So and then we got the dead body, so we get 3.5.
So I'm going to go 4 as well, and I'm going to go. I got to do the head roll and the.
You bum.
Well, I mean, it's in my dreams.
There you go.
And to finish it off, her sitting in that chair with the thumbs up.
Oh, that was so great.
That was awesome.
Man. It did make it put the cherry on top of the end of the episode. Yes, for sure. All right, I enjoyed this. I'm in Jeff's and Christopher's camp that not as much, but at the same time, it did not deter my love for this series. I think this is a great series, and this is perfectly fine episode. And the really good elements are actually really great. When it's on fire, it really nails it. And it's interesting how they can take these sweet moments and then juxtaposition against these either silly or gory moments and make it all work. And I think I'm really impressed and happy that they're making this series and making it so good. And other people that want to make series about IPs need to pay attention.
Yeah.
Favorite, and I'm very happy to have both Jennifer Tilly and Fiona Dorff back. I love them. I love their characters, and I love that they're still hanging out after the cult of Chucky. So I'm going to give it a 4 as well. But what's my favorite scene now that you took the head? What can I choose?
Up Chucky?
No. That's not going to be on my favorite.
Westworld?
The Westworld thing, no. I'm just going to... Can I just...
You can say the same scene.
I want to take the scene when Fiona Dorff and Jennifer Tilly appear. I've been waiting for them.
It's like the pinnacle of...
Yes.
Mm-hmm, I get it.
And everything that followed that. So that whole scene. And now I want to find out how they connect that to the story we've been following, and we've got to get those dots and figure it out.
What I'm going to be interested in is how they bring back Alex. I'm like, he found him, I guess, and then the fact that they have Fiona going in, or Nika going in and out with Chucky and her, that's definitely going to come into play further along. I just want to know I just want to know the whole thing already.
Yeah.
By the way, if you go to Fiona Dorff's Instagram, it shows a lot of the process of what they did to make her look like her dad.
Oh my God, I'm
following
her.
And she's in the makeup chair.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah, and I kind of saw it beforehand, so I kind of.
Oh, she just aired it today. Okay, she just did it because I was like, I follow her, and what is this burrito you're eating?
But her whole body language where she stuck her belly out. I thought it was
sexy.
Funny.
It was awkward.
I thought
sexiness.
she's perfect. She is perfect. Actually, I would have liked to seen Jennifer dressed up like that too.
Well, Jennifer's a lot older than Fiona, so
I don't care.
But
I don't discriminate.
If you watch the YouTube video, she said how it was great for her to be like this older woman having this sex scene with this younger woman. So
she's still hot. I don't care.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah.
And I guess small spoilers. There is another cast member from the old series coming back as well. Mm-hmm. We'll leave that hanging there. That we haven't mentioned, and we'll figure out who that is when they show up. Right?
Oh yes. Well,
it's I guess it's not a secret, but we're not going to spill it here.
Okay.
All right, well, there you go.
He's like, oh man, it's so hard. I know.
That's our review for Chucky episode 5. I hope you're enjoying the series as much as we are and enjoying our reviews as well. Crystal, Jeff, thank you for joining me. And Christopher, welcome aboard, sir. Thank you for being here.
Hey!
Yeah.
Which I just realized when they bash Chucky, they kick his head away and it rolls off, just like the ending.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. But
nice little parallel.
Nice. All right. Let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.